Previously on the top 25 games.
There we go. I think the sound setup might be a bit better too. Oh, hello, I am Viddy of Viddy's Gaming Videos, and welcome to the final post-commentary episode for the Top 25 Games Showcase 2021. For those of you who've been discovering or rediscovering this trilogy of videos, well, we have done the first two post-commentary episodes covering games 25 to 16 and then 15 to 6. So this is the top 5 games, and it's going to have a long credit sequence where really the top 5 games will be a fairly interesting topic to talk about, as well as how all the lists sort of come together. Thanks in advance also to those who submitted questions to the Q&A, and I'll answer them after essentially we've covered the first, well, game number 1. Of course, as you can see here, this is the recap. I think to make this video more special, I think this recap here had to be done as well. Oh, yes. Yeah, so there is essentially a 4th episode, but I'm not going to do a post-commentary for that, but that's like all the lists unedited as well. So, what is there on my notes to talk about? So intro recaps, yep. So, earlier on in this episode, well actually a couple of times in this episode throughout, do consist of a few like inserts, more so than the previous episodes, based on trying to include everyone, and also include things that I mostly got later on in editing. So I can say, based on Persona 5's inclusion in episode 2, a friend of members had given a very short critique of Persona 5. He didn't have it in his list, but he had played it close to close to the time maybe episode 1 to come out, or something like that. I wish I could remember the exact date he gave that audio sample to me, which should be coming up shortly. And yeah, here we go. A friend remembers talked about Persona 5, and I thought I'd just put this audio sample here.
On a game that's going to be on the list that I haven't put in.
Because that's kind of, feeling like, oh, if only I'd changed my list, I could have put Persona 5 in my list or any of the other games. Or you look at the games that ended up featuring and you're like, really? I guess I really made that game go up high, as we will see for game number 1, essentially.
This showcase is a spiritual successor to the games lists my friends and family.
Ah, yes, this is the lead up to the game in number 5, where it's not. I'm not sure if it's exactly a spoiler alert if you've not seen my list personally. Anyway, this game in number 5 did extremely well. In my old top 50 games list that I did personally with people, which is Warcraft 2, which sort of got first place more than once, and as I said, maybe it got repetitive after a while as well. To be fair, this is a bit of a family favourite, this game, and yeah, some people may prefer Warcraft 3 or heck even World of Warcraft over this one, but still, this is a really good game, and I'm heavily nostalgic for it. It's one of the first games to ever actually make me stay up late. No other game had done that before, and it is a pretty decent real-time strategy game as well. But there is a editing process about this to an extent which will lead to me having to talk about, and I'm this early in the post-commentary talking about it, a bit of a controversial point for mostly this episode, but least of all for games like this featuring. Now, I know even several years ago, Blizzard, or by even more specific extension, Blizz, as in Activision Blizzard, are no strangers to controversy, but it was about, I think it was about July or so, which was, literally like a month, before the showcase was to debut, and I was really in the thick of editing, that, for those who remember, that controversial news surrounding the workplace of Blizzard, and even Activision, came to light. This also compelled Michael Mick to remove a World of Warcraft game, or expansion, or whatever it was, from his list. Now, normally, once the list was done, I wouldn't I wouldn't say, no, you can't change your list, sorry, it's too late now. But he suggested, I might as well put Final Fantasy 14 or something instead, which didn't affect the overall rankings at all. So it's not like, oh, hang on, Final Fantasy 14 to the top 25 now. It wasn't there before. But no, that didn't affect it much. But it was still a valid reason, and it was mostly the only exception I could make. However, the news did upset me to a degree, especially alongside this, that I was like, oh, we've got 2 Blizzard games, yes, spoiler alert, 2 Blizzard games in the top 25, and I was like, oh geez, how are people going to react to this? Now, generally speaking, I remember in the Premiere Live chat, there were no negative reactions, oh no, Blizzard Entertainment, and after all the news that's come out. But I think I've sort of gradually changed my attitude over time, to be honest. It's still awful what happened in the news and all that, but I think, look, unfortunately, that's just kind of how the industry it is. I really do hope it gets better and everything. But I'm like, you know what? If people want to like Blizzard games, let them. I think it's a bit like Hogwarts Legacy or over and over again. It also did compel me, however, to, Catherine was going to make a Leroy Jenkins reference, but I decided, you know what? Because Blizzard's more about World of Warcraft these days, I'll remove the Leroy Jenkins reference, and we changed the last line to, it's an oldie but goldie. Anyway, look, that's just generally my thought. Look, I still like Warcraft 2 even to this day, more so for nostalgic reasons, and I wouldn't stop anyone from liking Blizzard games. Now, this was of course the idea to include other people's lists where none of their games whatsoever got in, which did happen with a few lists. Other people's lists might have only had, say, 1 or 2 games for this, or as Mike Annoyed will say in the comments, lots of his games as well. So it is kind of unfortunate, even for a small sample size, by the way, that not all games, well, not all lists basically got represented. So these inclusions were the best way I could do it. And Shushu, well, did an overarching statement for her whole list. So, yeah. But still, she chose Lemmings, which is great. She didn't choose Super Mario World, though, considering that death jingle I had.
Otherwise, there would have been console wars. I have variety systems and I like them all, but one of them has a game that really emerged for...
Also, I did the Warcraft 2 segment editing quite a bit later, and that was of course after the news as well, so during the voiceover and indeed the hosting in regards to it felt a little bit more flat. I tried to speak more excitedly in my hosting segments here about the other games, including this moment here where I'm talking about, yeah, this game got more than 1 Tier 1 vote. Only 2 games in the overall top 25 got this. And the game at number 4 got 2 Tier 1 votes. Other games either got only 1 Tier 1 vote or just a fair amount of votes. And they didn't measure up to Donkey Kong Country, which, to be fair, is a bit of a surprising inclusion. You know, that high at number 4. I know, this game is loved. I mean, heck, I even put it on my list as you saw there. And it's a great game. I guess I just didn't expect a 16-bit platformer like this to get up so high. But look, it is a great game. Maybe not exactly number 4 high, but that's just my personal list. But still a terrific game. And yeah, I mean, it's got, you know, all the graphics and the platformer gameplay and everything.
And the simple yet fun platformer gameplay that is familiar to those who have played 16-bit platformers, yet features some new ideas.
Also, I just realized with the footage log in the top right corner when Donkey Kong Country first started playing here, I had made a mistake. And I'll touch on this editing process in the rest of the top part here. The top right footage log is a copy-paste from Super Mario World's one, because all of this footage is from my SNES Mini. But Super Mario World featured, the SNES Mini, Snowman gameplays footage, and stuff on my NES, because Super Mario World did have a little bit more other Mario games to try and inform the opinion about the evolution of the Mario games, whereas this is all just Donkey Kong Country, and I cannot believe my burnout led to me making such an error there, but hey, no one noticed. It's not that big of a deal, Viddy. But everyone knows how good the music is. Yep, I chose some good music tracks here.
As a kid, I would
Slightly long musical montage there, if I may say so.
Country, but after revisiting the game now, I really like how difficult this game can get. The game to me never feels
Oh yes, I enjoyed editing the little death montage here, because, yep, that's the correct critique. This game will kill you unless, I'm sure, yeah, if you're doing a speedrun of this, I mean, you cannot get killed at all. Including that.
A good amount of skill and time to keep trying to successfully beat the game and try to get all the Kong letters.
I will admit that little thought there about getting all the Kong letters, because that's very much an optional thing, that critique applies more so to Donkey Kong Country Returns, where to get all the secrets you have to get all the Kong letters. I've not played much of Donkey Kong Country Returns, by the way. And also, yes, spoiler alert, this is the highest ranking Donkey Kong Country game. Donkey Kong Country 2 and 3, or especially 2, had a good go. But Donkey Kong Country, yeah, I think people would say, yeah, it's more accessible than Donkey Kong Country 2 and stuff like that. Also, I was a little bit worried that people would react well to the muffled sound quality of LK's critique there. But yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, everyone, recorded as, the best quality they could for talking about the games and stuff, and I think that worked out just fine. Also, this inclusion of Animal Crossing New Horizons here gave me an opportunity, apart from, saying Generations games did not get in the top 25 at all, and other people talked about Animal Crossing. I asked Rebecca Rambles, aka Becca, a friend of mine, to also do a list of her own, and was, and maybe still is, really into Animal Crossing New Horizons, but she didn't get the time and all that sort of thing to do a list, so I thought I would represent her a bit by having the footage where she and I played Animal Crossing online together, and this is the first time she went swimming in the game. So, yeah, so she won't like me saying this. She was like, "Hang on, how are you swimming in Animal Crossing? I didn't know you could swim in Animal Crossing." So the next time we played online together, she got a swimsuit, or is it wetsuit? Yeah, technically wetsuit, and we went swimming together. Animal Crossing New Horizons was on my list as well. And Mike Noit here had some pretty good moments from his gameplay of the game as well. But yeah, Animal Crossing New Horizons was a game I expected to get into the top 25. In fact, I think Generations swapped out Animal Crossing New Horizons... No, hang on, no, it's not swapped out. She swapped out Minecraft for Animal Crossing New Horizons as well. So, thanks to Animal Crossing New Horizons, Minecraft could have almost done better. Also, speaking of the Blizzard and Animal Crossing stuff, I figured this be the best time to include Charlie's segment before the Blizzard segment, and also it was after Animal Crossing, so it's cute, but the next game is the Blizzard game. Yeah, game number 3. Oh, this was uploaded on September 11th, 2021, so it was Charlie's birthday. Happy birthday, Charlie, for earlier this month too, sweetie. Aww. That's when we first got him. Puppy Charlie.
exciting.
Okay, so on to the top 3, yes. And like I said, 3 is a Blizzard game. I already talked during Warcraft 2 what I think about the, controversy and stuff. But I can say, though, the game at number 3 was originally at number 6. Otherwise, Ocarina of Time would have got number 5.
A good story or in online multiplayer. I will admit I didn't get this game at first when I was younger. Then
Well, maybe get into this game. Yes, when I first started playing this game, I didn't understand the appeal of it.
at number 3.
But then over time, it became one of my all-time favorites as well, which is the original StarCraft. Now, why this got number 3 instead of number 6? Heps O Games had StarCraft 2 on his list for quite a while there, which I didn't mind. I was like, oh, StarCraft 2 instead of StarCraft 1? Okay, that's cool. So obviously, he hadn't chosen StarCraft 1. Well, he did. Well, it's a bit complicated. So he submitted, his critiques for as much of his games as possible, and he did, StarCraft 2, or what I thought was StarCraft 2, and he was talking about the game in a way that seemed to be about StarCraft 1, and I messaged him saying, hey, no, isn't this StarCraft 1? And it was like, oh, wait, no, we'll have StarCraft 1 on my list instead, and have StarCraft 2 as an honorable mention. And I was like, oh no. It's almost like, the Final Fantasy XIV idea with Mogulmic. So this made things more complicated as well. StarCraft, I think alongside Resident Evil 4 and Super Mario World, was the first edit I did, because I thought I had everyone's critiques, and I had footage of StarCraft, so again, very similarly to Super Mario World, I would start editing the StarCraft segment, and this was before the controversy in the news, by the way, and I was like, yay, this looks like a great project. But after Heb's critique, I was like, well, I had to try and record a new bit of extra voiceover for the StarCraft segment, and somehow script it in somehow. So, like at the very beginning, I had a bit of critique from Heps, followed by the intro I had recorded weeks, if not months ago, where I'm like, StarCraft, developed by Blizzard Entertainment, first came out this year, yay, that sort of mentality as well.
To get to know, they were a lot of fun to see how they...
So, yeah, thanks, guys, for making this more hard. Nah, it's okay. I still managed to get this done, and StarCraft, well, I like it. StarCraft is probably my favourite RTS game even to this day. And even though the time I've not let the Blizzard news, as horrible as it is, affect me, and I still like it. For I will admit though, the sound mixing for the game sound, such as this moment here, I probably didn't do as well as I thought I did. But then again, maybe Andreas, who I mentioned in episode 1, post-commentary, probably did as good of a job as he could, with all the, game sound mixed with my voice, and it seemed to work out fine.
One lengthy and well-presented campaign perfection, fully voice-acted, I believe, that tied into an overarching story of intergalactic conflict.
Also, thanks to the critiques, or at least rediscovering this game, I actually got a chance to play some maps that are heavily made, really fan-heavy ones.
multiplayer scenes.
Yeah, like as even Ciardo is talking about it here. So I found some like maps, as well as RPG-themed maps, and Tetris, and there's some really good fan-made maps around there, and I enjoyed playing a few of them for the purpose of getting footage for the StarCraft segment. Otherwise, mostly it's just other multiplayer matches I played, usually on Friday nights, yeah, that was a thing, as well as a campaign. Also, that text box, my fault, got in the way of the map UI at the top left there, which showed, I think that was like essentially a snowman-shaped map with, like warp gates and stuff. Still, waiting for next time. But that's what I've always done through playing StarCraft as well, so I can try and rush effectively. But I will admit, I'm not a StarCraft expert. It taught me how to do hotkeys in day-to-day computer life, but
developer support.
Yeah.
Soon became an
Now, also after the StarCraft segment finished, I said, I acknowledged the Blizzard controversy because I still thought it was fair to. Maybe a lot of people thought it what I didn't have to. Andreas did originally get rid of a static surrounding this statement here, but I want to put a static back in, personally, because I thought that made the apology more raw and genuine. Again, going back to what I was saying during the Warcraft 2 segment, you don't have to... You don't have... You can say... You don't have to really talk about it, Viddy, but I just thought I'd make it clear. I've just sort of moved on from it over time, while still acknowledging that it's terrible. But still, we can actually talk about a more pleasant game for the gamer number 2. Yes.
As well as the industry was focusing on 3D gaming.
Oh yeah, that sentence right there about the 3D landscape changing. I'm surprised I did that in sort of one take with no jump cuts. And I'm also just as surprised that Banjo-Kazooie got number 2, but it's a pleasant surprise. Banjo-Kazooie I think could have almost got game number 1 instead of number 2, but we'll talk about that in a moment. Banjo-Kazooie also got more than one tier 1 vote, just like Donkey Kong Country did. So Nintendo Down Under and Nintendo Reviewer both gave this a tier 1 vote. They are both huge Banjo-Kazooie fans, and how can you disagree with that? Banjo-Kazooie is a great 3D platformer that really I just warmed to even more so over time if that's possible, and it's in my top 10, 15, whatever-ish games. Well, it's on my list. I chose it, alongside Banjo-Tooie as well. Banjo-Tooie did kind of okay in the runner-up as well, but Banjo-Kazooie, oh, it's a classic, you don't need me to tell you that. A mixture of Nintendo 64 footage here and the Xbox 360 footage as well.
3D platformer where you play as a bear and a bird versus Gruntilda and Evil Witch. The story's completely absurd, but that's not why you play it. You play it to see what all world.
A good portion of this footage I think also comes from my review as well, yeah, where I showed up all the levels as well. Although I had played the Xbox 360 at the time, and later was able to record Nintendo 64 games, so I could get my original copy of Banjo-Kazooie recorded as well. Although it is on the Switch now. Yeah, we didn't expect that at the time.
Is for characters and their adventures. Graphics are dated, but who cares?
The combination of fun mechanics.
Also, I've not really talked about the critiques generally surrounding each of these games, well, at least for the top 5 at least. But I think, yeah, so far, Warcraft 2, Donkey Kong Country, StarCraft, and this have had good opinions. Even, yeah, Warcraft 2 came from the family a fair bit, considering what I was saying before about Warcraft 2 being a top 50 games mainstay dating back years. And I had a feeling Warcraft 2 would get into the top 25. I was even wondering if it would win, because hey, if Warcraft 2 did well in the past, it would do well here too. Also, the sound mixing there surrounding the game sound was a bit loud. Grant Kirkhope's music. I just like including musical montages in this, okay? I think, yeah, it's like Rareware games have good ones. And I think as the live chat will say, I think Banjo-Kazooie is the Rareware game. Banjo-Kazooie can be the game that comes to mind the most when you think about Rareware. Also, I did have Banjo-Kazooie in my top 10 soundtracks. Top 10 soundtracks video back in 2018, yeah.
It's all fun with the many moves you use along the way.
It's almost like editing this might as well make it like it got number 1 in contrast to the game at number 1, which, for those of you who've seen the showcase before, was probably the biggest surprise ever.
It is the most impressive Nintendo 64 game.
Also, I think this was the only other game besides Super Mario World of the Retro Rooms list that got into the top 25. It ended up getting ported to the Switch. So I can use the footage I got of the Switch version now. Should this get into the showcase again? Well, with 2 tier 1 votes, it might do so. and there are plenty of Banjo-Kazooie fans out there. Let's rejoice! Happy 25th anniversary as well.
If you've been reading the text boxes on
Oh yes, before we talk about game number 1, let's talk about something that actually was a bit emotional for me. I was actually looking this, or re-looking this up on Instagram not long ago, because I also use Instagram messaging to get the lists as well. Nintendo Down Under was also here had a list as well. And when the first episode was uploaded, I messaged the first episode to him, and he said in advance, with this video I'm doing soon, can I give you a shout out? And I was like, yeah, of course you can. And it's on, so it's not like a whole video, of course, it's just the ending of it. And I will admit, throughout the whole video, but especially this moment right here, I actually started to cry, tears of joy. And like I was really moved, and I moved to a point I asked him like, "Hang on, can I include this in the third episode of the showcase?" And of course he agreed, and he was just, and also I think it was partially due to this I got a boost of subscribers. Again, I don't look for the subscriber numbers, but things like this of community really do help people, and that's also the other thing. This was a great overall collaborative project, and whether it was Nintendo Down Under's list, Nintendo Reviewers list, Retro Rooms list, Micronoid's list, all the lists, and even with the lists that missed out, try to represent them as much as well, and as Nintendo Down Under acknowledged there, my love of games persuaded me just as much as possible to pull through with completing this project. Even if I had burnout, especially during editing episode 3, which we will see especially shown in a moment as well. Like for game number 1 of this episode was really hard to edit for a couple of reasons. But yes, when this game got number 1, this game was originally going to get second or third place. And even then, that would have been very surprising as well. Like, what's this game doing at number 2 or number 3 anyway? But yeah, as I say it here, a mixture of people did choose it. It wasn't like, it was just a bunch of YouTubers, or this group of YouTubers, like, speaking of Persona 4, or just my family and friends, or just a bunch of Twitch streamers chose this. No. Of course, not everyone chose it, but it was a good mixture of people, based on nostalgia. Also, no one got Metro Prime into the showcase or top 25 for me. Boo. No, it's okay. It's okay. Metro Prime was actually very close to being 25th.
Editing these videos, the top favorite game of all time.
Oh, the Premier Live Chat was like, what could it possibly be? Even though it got no tier 1 votes like Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie did. Like, what? Super Mario Kart's vote by Fun Bros got replaced with this, as he's about to say. Yeah, Mario Kart 64 got number 1. I never expected Mario Kart 64 to get number 1. Maybe even to the top 25 at all. And I think there's at least one comment after the live chats would say, it's like, Mario Kart 64? I thought Mario Kart 8 would have beaten Mario Kart 64. Also, as you can see there at the top right, it says Bata Mode, which is to say Battle Mode. The computer was slowing down quite a bit by this time, to the point where I just wanted to type in Battle Mode, and I thought I typed in BATTLE, but I didn't, and oh my gosh. So that's why editing this one became hard. Editing this one was also hard for another reason. I wanted to get some more footage from the Grand Prix and stuff of the other tracks. But right at the very last moment, my capture device stopped working. Talk about bad timing. So I went to, I was hoping Snowman Gameplay would have footage of Rainbow Road, or other footage of Rainbow Road and stuff. And frankly, that was on the channel.
of 2 single-player modes.
But look, Mario Kart 64 is a good game. Definitely not terrible, far from it. But number 1 really, well, it feels like it has like a lot of nostalgia behind it. And if it weren't for Farm, Banjo-Kazooie would have won. Nah, it's okay, Farm. Even if you prefer Super Mario Kart and you also really like this game, that's fine too.
Time trial mode. I did love the music.
There's some great critiques here too, including time trial mode and battle mode. Yeah, so the battle mode I got from the Nintendo reviewer because I didn't have any battle mode footage whatsoever, least of all with 4 players. I need to play some more battle mode of this game. I will admit, if there's something to come back for this game too with multiplayer, I think I would choose battle mode.
And Rainbow Road.
Rainbow Road. Classic track and classic music. Yeah, I wanted some Rainbow Road footage from Snowman gameplay that didn't feature the shortcut. I had already recorded myself doing the shortcut, but yeah. Or that also means I'll try to get as much of the characters as possible, you know, playing this game. Like some people might be Luigi mains or Yoshi mains, but I wanted to get as much of the 8 characters being playable as possible.
64 was that whole lore that you had to find these shortcuts. Some of them you had to use a mushroom to find out. I would just go in time trial mode and just explore every single corner of the track. It was a little bit like an RPG game in a way, where you kind of had to mind your surroundings. Yoshi Valley,
it's good critiques and it's good like revisiting of all the tracks as well. So yeah, whether it's Farm or, you know, the other Matilda and DAR and stuff, yeah, so family and friends and YouTubers and Twitch people chose this game as well. I do have a feeling though, whether it's due to some unintentional rigging, that Mario Kart 64 won't get number 1 in the potential sequel, but it might still get to a top 25 anyway based on nostalgia. I mean, if you still like Mario Kart 64, then you still like it. Don't change for yourself.
She says, there is no multiplayer game like Mario Kart. I love this game because it's actually quite strategic.
So yeah, considering that this was the last thing I edited, right down to that spelling error and stuff, it turned out alright though. I'm still happy with the edits here as well.
And those bananas.
Obviously,
Oh, banana.
Mario Kart and dropped lots of banana peels for people to slip on.
I actually think that's Mary, you know, who's been on my Viddy plays, playing multiplayer with me. Whereas this here is my Nintendo reviewer and friends, they're doing their version of battle mode as well. If you get a chance to check out the Nintendo reviewer's channel and of course the multiplayer commentaries, do so.
I do miss the feather. I know that the later Mario games have gotten a little bit more
Wait,
casual.
did you say later Mario games?
It's kind of funny, especially in multiplayer.
Also, yeah, this mate, I think sometimes it was a bit hard to choose the footage of, you know, like looking for blue shells and all that sort of thing. That's the best footage I could get, because normally if you get hit by a blue shell, you know, enemies will start to overtake you and stuff, but that was the best I could do.
So to speak, and went above the other 24 games and indeed...
Yeah, Mario Kart 64, I guess, did blue shell over the competitors in the showcase. But I'm not angry or upset or anything, because purely because it was unexpected. Like, Banjo-Kazooie game number 1 is sort of predictable. More deserving, sure, but still predictable. Whereas Mario Kart 64 game number 1 is more unpredictable for me. And that's why I'm happy. Even though some people are like, really? What? Or, oh. Or what about Mario Kart 8 or things like that? But still, Mario Kart 64 is a favourite, and I really wouldn't have it any other way. Okay, so we're coming on to the end here.
Well,
just anything I had to say about the outro here?
I cannot believe it. For many months...
But yes, like I sort of alluded to, like...
Over in a few weeks. It's like cooking a lovely meal.
Yes, the analogy is like you cook a delicious meal, it takes ages to cook, and it gets eaten in minutes. Ah, yeah, that's what it kind of felt like. Even though the editing from... Yeah, see, I'd still do more errors. But 2003 to 2008 was when I did the top 50 games list. But yeah, the editing was a lot of work. But I think with my computer being better now, I've got a better computer now, editing the showcase would be a lot more manageable. Plus, I've got a better project flow idea in mind. That is, if we do a sequel. Surprisingly, no one has asked in Q&A. When's the next one? Are you doing another one? Are you going to do it like this or something? Look, I can say right now. We'll see. I'm hoping maybe next year I'll do one, but at the same time I may not.
Tiers for in everyone's lists, and there'll be mostly tier 1 experts.
Oh yes, like I was talking about the fact that even though it took me a while, because I was quite tired I guess, I was hoping a few days after the upload of this, I would have the unedited games list that goes for a few hours. But yeah, I got quite tired and that came a bit later than I expected, but still that was a good opportunity to see everyone's lists. Like I said, I'm not doing commentary for it, but if you go to the, I think it's 4 hours long or something, look at the lists, you can see that.
Insert bloopers and edit credits.
Yes, and this was also the good time to insert bloopers from the hosting, and indeed a couple of recordings from other people as well. And yes, so when I was talking before in the previous post commentaries about the birds and helicopters and neighbours, being all like, oh, guess what? You don't have a fancy soundproof studio. Well, too bad. We're going to interrupt you all the time, as well as me forgetting my lines here. With the best time and will in the world, I couldn't do what I probably wished I could have done and memorize the lines and say them. But at the same time, I just thought, well, this was the best way to do it, like with jump cuts and all as well. Oh, was that a Siri problem there, Davis? I'm not sure I understand. I am GLaDOS, and I think this showcase is a lie. This whole list is a lie. No, GLaDOS, you mean the cake. So, while we are here, let me just get my showcase, the Q&A ready. We've got a few good questions here. So I'll answer them first, and then I guess I'll do a bit of a quick conclusion of it. So the first question comes from Myconoid. Have you tried out any games from other people's lists that weren't in the top 25? If so, which ones? Now, how I've interpreted this question is games that didn't get into the top 25, so we've seen 25 to 1, which we'll see shortly. Also, the Funbros had a blooper there too. I'm looking at games in the runner-up that I tried after the showcase was mostly done. I'm probably missing out on a fair amount of games, I think, really. And in either event, I may have got a few things wrong, because I thought I played Elder Scrolls V Skyrim after the showcase was done for my first time, but that's not true. I had played a bit of Skyrim before, which was in the runner-up. But here are the games that I've played as a result of the showcase from its runner-up. Nier Automata, I think I played because of the showcase, although maybe not. I had played the demo. Fire Emblem Three Houses, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, Horizon Zero Dawn, I think, Persona 3, Assassin's Creed 2, I think Wario Land Super Mario Land 3, Demon's Souls, for Marvel Spider-Man games, including Miles Morales, Final Fantasy VIII, Batman Arkham Asylum, maybe Chronicles of Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay, Fatal Frame 5, Made in Blackwater, Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl, and maybe Until Dawn and Ori the Will of the Wisps, whereas a good portion of the other runner-up are games I've played at least a bit of, or are my favourites and stuff. Yeah, I hope that answers your question. There's some good games there. I'll answer the question in a moment. I'm just going to get some water. Enjoy listening to a bit more of the video.
Here is both the why I like it, but the problems the game has. Persona 3, unlike Persona 2 and 1, implemented a social simulator where you can make bonds, so the game was built around that, and it's actually really good. But when they nailed the characters and the new social links, they ruined the battle mechanics, as you can no longer control your party. I know it's because of the theme.
Okay, I think we're back. Yes, now the next question.
As it could get boring
comes
fast,
from...
especially the only difference between
Hold on, let me read it. Yeah, there we go. Hey.
The story is my favorite aspect
The next
of
question
Persona
comes
3
from the Nerdy Brigade,
since it's based around the acceptance
who
and the meaning of
I haven't talked to for quite a while, dating back to my Chrono Trigger review in 2018. They say, not so much a question, but just wanted to say thanks for continuing to work hard on producing great content. I know it can be disheartening to be a small content creator, but I do really enjoy the videos. Nerdy Brigade, thank you so much. People have encouraged me to continue as a small creator and stuff, and I feel so moved that you're still there watching the videos when you can and stuff, and thank you so much. Your question is, as Andrew actually had a question, what is your favourite Persona game you have played so far and why? From what I have played, which are mainly Persona 4 and 5, and a tiny bit of 3, I guess I'll still have to say Persona 5. With story and gameplay, while not necessarily perfect, especially in story, I still think is the most, the most engaging to me. If I do play Persona 3 or something like that, I might change my mind. And I did enjoy Persona 4 a lot. And I mean, going to the top 25. But I think, yeah, I ended up enjoying Persona 5 more. And it's such a great game that I had to my top 25 list. Also, people, let me know what your favorite Persona or Shin Megami Tensei game is down in the comments as well. Thanks for the question. Alright, so we've got the next one from Officially Captured, which is, what types of questions do you mean? What? No, not that one. No, it's about the top 25 games showcase. A question regarding a question, no. It is, if you could take just 3 of the top 25 games to a deserted island, and those games would be the only games you could play for the rest of your life, what games would they be and why? Oh my gosh. Well, do I just consult my favourite games list that I did? So, I mean, games from my list that were in the top 25, I had to narrow it down to 3. So hang on, so I chose Banjo-Kazooie, StarCraft, Donkey Kong Country, Warcraft 2, Ocarina of Time, of course, Breath of the Wild, Super Mario World, Persona 5,
predicting the overall story beats, I was still maybe it's because I've always wanted to be a teacher, but seeing my students grow in battle was just sad.
Hey, no, what, I said that one.
First time really got to me. This game could have been double its length, and I still
I didn't choose that one. Resident Evil 4 original.
So many bangers that it's crazy that this tiny
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Believe me, I could go on for so long about how much I love this game. However, I do plan on making a video for my channel.
What else? What else did I choose? Hang on. Anyway, let's narrow it down to 3, shall we? I would probably have to say, based on replayability and length and stuff, I think Super Smash Bros. Ultimate and Persona 5 are coming to mind. What's the third one? Well, I would almost say Breath of the Wild, but in some cases Tears of the Kingdom has eclipsed that, so... I'd almost have to say Banjo-Kazooie, because I can replay that one over and over again. Hang on, Golden Knight, 964...
No problem for me to play one slot, and I do it for a couple of reasons. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic is a phenomenal...
Okay, well, I'll just say those 3. Banjo-Kazooie, Persona 5, and Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. That would, however, mean with getting different systems. Although, no, that's technically not true. Persona 5 is also on Switch, as is Banjo-Kazooie. So I can just take my Switch with me. Oh, by Persona 5, I mean either Persona 5 or Persona 5 Royal. And I guess since Persona 5 Royal is on Switch, then there you go. Hope it answers your first question, because you also asked a second question, which is... yeah, here's another question. If you was a salesman and you had to sell us just one of the games from this list, what game would you try to sell to us? And what would your sales pitch be? Oh, hitting me with a hard questions, you guys. First, Desert Island Games, and favorite Persona game, and I'm going to try and sell a non-Persona game, because I think we talked about that enough already. Let me see. Well, I could maybe try and sell Mario Kart 64. Yeah, let's try Mario Kart 64, since I thought that kind of wasn't deserving of another one spot. Okay, let's see if I can improvise this a bit. And it has to be an audio pitch. So, like, these are the sort of sales pitches you hear on, like, the radio and stuff, rather than see on TV. Okay, Mario Kart 64. It's me, Mario! Oh no! Mario and his friends are racing around the Mushroom Kingdom in a retro-inspired kart racing game coming exclusively to the Nintendo 64. Mario Kart 64. Join Mario and 7 other characters in multiple tracks and multiple engine sizes and a battle mode to see who's the very best racer of all time. Choose the blue shells and get rid of your opponents, and go to battle mode and turn into a bomb cart if you lose all your balloons. Get Mario Kart 64 on your Nintendo 64 or Nintendo Switch Online and Dead Virtual Console today!
Without diminishing the severity, which in itself...
How'd you like that? Is that a good Mario Kart 64 pitch? Mind you, I just realised that I've managed to cover those 4 questions in the space of 8 minutes of the credits here. Well, let's return to the non-Q&A side of things for a bit. Thanks again for your questions, everybody. Any other questions, I'll just answer them in the comments now. So, with this section right here, maybe I could have edited a little bit differently, but what I essentially did was I got my Word document out and I had an automatic scrolling, and basically, yeah, so this scrolling was not changed much in terms of speed or anything like that at all. So I just had an automatic scroll from my mouse, and I just let the computer running as it was recording. I probably went out for a while, while I left it on. Would have left it on for about, 20 minutes in total? Still. So, what do I think of the overall top 25 generally? Was it that good of a list? Was it questionable to a degree, considering what I was saying about Mario Kart 64 and stuff before? Well, I think overall, each of the top 25 games are great. There was no game, regardless of position, that I thought, oh my gosh, this game is bad, why do people choose this? No, even if there were surprises, such as having to realise, oh my gosh, I had to discover the Soulsborne games by playing both Bloodborne and Dark Souls at the same time, which was still a good discovery anyways. And, it was good to sometimes rediscover games a bit. Like Mario Kart 64, I rediscovered a bit. And I discovered other games because of a showcase, like Minecraft to a degree, Persona 4 and things like that. And of course, the aforementioned runner-ups that Myconoid asked for. So, overall, I think it's a solid list. There are very few games in a person's list where I was like, really? Why did you choose this? I did say no joke answers. So if someone had Superman 64 on their list, I would have been like, you're joking, right? Or who knows? Maybe there are people out there who think Superman 64 is a good game, but come on. We all know it's terrible. But just about every game featured on this list, even the ones I haven't played, are promising in terms of quality. And everyone was very positive about the showcase, as well as the games featured as well. And honestly, based on that, I think this showcase was a success, and there can be a sequel to it, just like the top 50 games lists I did with family and friends years ago. And we could do 26 games instead of 25, and the games people have chosen, if they're returning, right, can mostly remain unchanged. Do not change your list just because, well, that was in the list last time. No. If your tier 1 has not changed in terms of taste or opinion, don't change it. If any of those tier 2 or tier 3 or tier 4 or tier 5 ones haven't changed, it doesn't matter. Because you might include a few new games on your lists, Other people who have never done the showcase before could participate, and I'd be interested to see, based on retro and contemporary games, what the tastes would be like. And I've seen, speaking of lists, what really inspired me to do or at least got me in the mood to do this post commentary right here, right now, was there's been a bit of a trend going on Twitter at this moment, where through some kind of tier making program or something, people have actually done top 25 games lists. A few of them are jokes, like one is just Red Dead Redemption 2 over and over again. I mean, as good as that game is, from what I've heard, but no. In that regard, you had Red Dead Redemption 2 as your tier 1 game person and have 24 other games to choose. But yeah, some people had some great selections. Mostly, I think, not in order. I mean, it can also be hard. So some people had, like, the Persona games, there we go again, Assassin's Creed, Mario, what other... Mass Effect, and people even had contemporary games like Baldur's Gate 3 and Tears of a Kingdom. I think even Octopath Traveler 2 was on there. Someone even chose Starfield. There are so many great games. And I just like looking at games lists, even if it's just titles alone. Even though the extra critiques made this project all the more fun to do. Like all the critiques that we're seeing here in this credits and everyone before. Really were a joy to read or listen to. And if you didn't do critiques, I just liked seeing the lists, the titles mentioned. And I was like, oh, someone chose Tetris, and then Zonta, then Pong, and then Super Mario Bros. And stuff. It was... Even just the name of the game, seeing it as someone's favourite, just fills me with a sort of indescribable, or should I say, imponderable joy. And that's just one reason why I wanted to do this as a collaborative thing. I wanted to try and bring back the top 50 games thing and do it with more and more of the YouTube and Twitch, etc. people. And you people have done that, so, including, Dennis here and so many others. And I hope even in the lists, the missed out sections and this end credits and stuff right here, everyone got represented, and it was like the live chat did go fairly quiet here as everyone was reading about the lists and stuff here, and some people had some great selections, great selections. I mean, I'm not sure people can look at the lists and go, hang on, how come Mario Kart 64 won? Let me see, who chose Mario Kart 64? Who chose Banjo-Kazooie? Who chose Gran Turismo 4? Why didn't Gran Turismo 4 get into the top 25? Well, I think, to be fair, there are two faults with the overall lists, which are not necessarily to do with the people's tastes or anything. I do wish the sample could have been bigger, 40 people, which I have to admit for a small YouTube collaborative project is still a pretty good number. But more than 40 I would have liked. And the second one is, there were a few lists which were submitted to me that came from people who seem to really like games, and my disappointment with them was that there were not as many games on those lists. Now, I can understand that it can be hard to choose games, and maybe to some people there are only like 5 games they would absolutely consider as masterpieces, but there were a few lists which I wish could have been bigger. Rather choose just 5 or, 5, 9, 13, 21, 25, so there were a few lists which I wish could have been a bit bigger. I think that actually would have made the overall list a bit better, and maybe could have changed Mario Kart 64 standing and things like that, and also showed a bit more passion in the hobby of gaming as well. But look, aside from that, and just a couple of games which, while I were like, overall the top 25 was a great selection again, and it was also a great project as well. And this has got me inspired to do more collaborative projects too, and hopefully there will be a sequel. It still remains to be seen if I will do it, even as soon as possible, but we'll see.
and variety of small challenges and obstacles.
And also, not everyone did critiques for their games, or more to the point, critiques for every one of their games on the list. So like, if I remember rightly, Celestia, for example, talks about a few games in their list, least of all, of course, Link to the Past, but didn't do the other ones. And so that meant that, you know, sometimes their games would just get a name mention or something as well. But if you want to see all the critiques, sound or the text only, again, go to the bonus episode 4, not the post commentary, but in the Top 25 Game Showcase 2021 playlist. Because what you're seeing here, in terms of the 25 followed by the runner-up and these lists here, are just the titles. And you have to see the critique, see or hear the critiques. They're great. Everyone did a great job with their lists. A few times I did have to reach out, you know, like I was saying before with StarCraft and, you know, swapping out World of Warcraft for Final Fantasy XIV, swapping out Minecraft for Animal Crossing New Horizons. And even a couple of lists, to be fair, also had a couple of games that swapped out at the very last moment, or after the deadline was done. It's like, oh, hang on, this is not what I chose instead, or something. So, for example, Vacant Skull Archives had Metal Gear Solid on the PlayStation. And that actually got it close to, I think, position 20. And so once I locked in the 25, you know, and I double-checked every list, and I was like, okay, Metal Gear Solid's on the top 25. I cannot wait to rediscover Metal Gear Solid. And so when I got Vacant Skull's audio back, and I was like, okay, so where's Metal Gear Solid on the audio file? I think it was one audio file. And I was like, hang on, what game is this? And it turned out that at the very last minute, they edited in, they replaced Metal Gear Solid with Silent Hill, which there's nothing wrong with that, but it meant like, oh, I guess I had to bump, you know, 26 up to 25 or something. Bioshock, as you saw, was right behind Minecraft. So yeah, that made it a bit hard to, but I don't mind at all. But I think next time I will have to be a bit more strict in regards to locking in lists. If you change the games after the deadline, maybe it's sort of too bad. But hang on, I shouldn't be that harsh because people games list favorites tastes change over time. My list, as you can see here, would definitely be different now. There are a few games that I would change or remove, really. And also there's some other games that I've discovered over time, contemporary or retro, that whether it was due to this showcase or not, honestly, just remind me of why I like gaming in the first place. Rediscovering this project, and indeed the aforementioned 25 games lists on Twitter, can just be a reminder that if you're feeling down in the dumps, just remember why you like gaming and just play a classic favourite of yours, or try and discover a game, or, you know, a game, or maybe make a certain game you usually play more challenging or something, because overall, we like our games. Hopefully we don't play them 24/7. Anyway, so that brings me to the end of this overall project. Again, great time was had by all. Thank you all so much for the comments in the post commentary, the Q&A, and for doing the project with me and everything. And I hope, whether you did the showcase before or not, but if there is a sequel, I hope you take part in it, even if you did it before. So, I, Viddy of Viddy's Gaming Videos, bid you all a good day or night or whatever it is, and I will see you soon at this moment for Spider-Man Miles Morales and Spooky Month of October and PAX. Be well everyone, and I'll see you very soon.